my power!
Don't try it!
Well, if it isn't the consequences of your actions. Look, here's the thing, if it's for your own personal drawings, take as much time as you need, but once it comes to things like commissions where both money and time are involved, and there is an agreed deadline, then it needs to be done by that date. Accountability, time management, aka prioritizing tasks, communication, respecting your customer. These are all very simple concepts that everyone should grasp, but it is unfortunate that it is still something that goes over some people's heads. Now, the reason I'm saying all this is because there is a post going around on Twitter made by a relatively small VTuber by the name of Juno Eves, and it started a whole conversation on the platform. I'm getting pretty wholesome, cutesy vibes from what I'm getting on her Twitch page, check her out if you want to, but she has gone on to call out some business practices some artists online, namely Twitter, tend to have. She goes on to say, quote, "I think we need to have a serious talk about the artists on here, specifically the ones that consistently work with VTubers. I'm the last person who wants to be negative in my own space, but the last 6 months, I've experienced a stressful business that can only be defined as disrespectful and violently unprofessional. I've commissioned a couple of dozen, 20 to 30 artists in the last months, big and small, I have been a fan of and generally believe them to have immense talent, but of those artists, almost all of them were completely silent after taking my payment and did not ever send me a message, update, or any sort of communication, even while being severely late or breaking their own TOS and set agreements with me. I had to beg to be acknowledged 4 to 10 times during these purchases, but even after begging, I was met with lies, more ignoring rushed pieces that were already late, or yes, just straight up shockingly late pieces." So just by that opening statement, right, there's a ton of red flags there already. So she's telling us she commissioned 20 to 30 artists and practically not a single one of them had the basic human decency of updating their customer about their progress. That is an embarrassingly abysmal number, and quite frankly, it does tarnish the reputation of artists taking commissions on Twitter. And if you're one of those 20 to 30 artists, do not ever fucking complain about customer service ever again. Now, here's the thing. I think for the most part, if you let the person who commissioned you know that the drawing is going to be a little, it's going to be a little late, going to take a little bit longer than expected, they'll be fine with it and understand. They just need to know. And the Twitter art space already has a bit of a reputation of being a toxic wasteland. Now, the space also has some professionalism tacked onto it. You can't be turning your artwork into a business, taking your customers' money and then treating them like this. Taking them to the point of begging for an update? Bro, that is crazy. Even to the point where Eve had to beg, she still had negative experiences. She goes on to say, quote, "I have given every single person I ever worked with their full compliments and 5-star ratings regardless, in fear of upsetting any artist or being seen as rude. As a customer and VTuber, artists are the backbone of the community and I do not exist without them. Reputation is everything." Take note of that word, we'll talk about reputation later. "And I don't want anyone to feel ill after working with me. So I grit my teeth and endure. That does make me a part of the problem. I agree. I rarely speak up or adjust my rating to see fit. I am extremely small, poor, and have no artistic talent. I must live within the ability of everyone I work with through mutual respect and agreements. But at the same time, I have never felt as broken, ignored, ghosted, and damn near scammed since I began working with these VTuber artists. Scamming is a lot less common, but no one ever talks about how it was replaced with unprofessional behavior. Lies, ghosting, having to message them once a month to make sure you exist to them, and sketches taking half a year to complete. I hate whining. I've been silent because I love these artists, but the truth is I don't think they really treat it like a job, even though you pay them. Just taking money and caring about the rest later. If it was 1 or 2 or hell even only 10 people who did this to me, I could bear it. But the fact that nearly 90% of the people I've encountered had an issue with or been ignored by shows it's heavily normalized." And she ends off in the comments saying, quote, "I wanted to get that off my chest. I go silent because I fear if I say something negative, people won't want to work with me. Please don't recommend or promote under this. I am not looking for art. I have so many pending pieces that haven't received care in months. I pretty much gave up. I am dirt poor and dried up. Not to mention the vouching does not really work on me anymore. The whole point is, no matter who has dozens of thousands of followers, shiny 5-star reviews, worked with the biggest creators, and get recommended to you over and over, they all can and will treat you however they feel like at the time." So Eve, who acknowledges that artists are important to the VTuber sphere, has clearly become jaded by her whole experience with commissioning artists on Twitter. Now, I think it goes without saying that anyone who is even remotely within the range of the Twitter artist and VTuber AoE sphere, those two communities can become extremely toxic. But Eve did touch on something very interesting, which is her reputation. And I get it, being a VTuber or creator for that matter of a small size, it's easy to feel like you can get squashed at any given time if it turns out that you are an unpleasant person to deal with, or if anyone feels like they had a negative experience with you. You don't have that same leniency people have towards people in the space who are larger and more established than you are, unless it's something highly controversial. And I agree, she is a part of the problem, feeding that vicious cycle of wanting to keep up a clean image. Let's be honest, I think it's natural for people to gravitate towards creators with larger numbers, right? Like, for example, when you're looking for a restaurant to eat at, I know in this timeline and economy, I know, bear with me. I know of some people who will only look at 4 stars and above and won't even consider anything below that. I think it's quite a similar situation, right? People with different numbers get treated differently. But on the flip side, artists with such shitty business practices can't keep getting away with looting and ghosting, because what's important is that small VTubers and creators like Eve aren't the only ones who have a reputation to keep. When you, as an artist, you have decided to take on commissions and are posting your art and commission prices on places like Twitter with the intention of making money off of your work, you have come to the decision that you will willingly dive into the world of business. You can still do fun little drawings on the side, but once you're paid to do something for another person that needs to be done by a certain date, you should get your priorities straight. Now, I know some of you hate the word business, but once you've decided and acted on making money off your own artwork, not only are you an employee of your own business, you are also the business owner. You're your own boss. Congratulations. You get to draw for a living. That is fantastic. It's what everyone dreams of. The side effect is you have other things to take care of on top of drawing, and you need to hold yourself accountable for those things. And among the many important things when running a business, and in this case taking on commissions as an artist, your reputation is going to play a big factor in how well you are going to do. Bit of a no-brainer, right? Good reputation leads to trust and loyalty. That's how you keep customers coming back, and that's why some VTubers prefer to work with and seek out specific artists, because they know those artists are going to communicate their progress and get shit done on time. But if you are an artist who takes on commissions and can't deliver, you're not only doing yourself a disservice, but you are also poisoning the well for every other artist on the platform who want to take on commissions. And I'm not the only one with that sentiment. It's reflected as well in the quote tweets. This artist Aquito calling out people saying, quote, "Is it really that art takes long, or do artists accept 50 comms, take the money up front, now they're backlogged and the clock started? We should normalize not taking money until the comm will actually be worked on. Sincerely, an artist that takes 1 to 2 comms and has a short TAT." And then below in the comments they posted an interaction of how they themselves update their customers as any professional person would. Another VTuber by the name of Chloe Zoro VT saying, quote, "I usually let the commissioner choose how they want to pay, upfront or 50-50, and only send the invoice once I start, or if I'm ready to start working on the piece. Honestly though, it is normal etiquette." And another artist by the name of Zmainir saying, quote, "Dear artists, do better. I'm saying this as an artist myself. By having this behavior, you're hurting yourself, your reputation, and the entire community. You have the immense privilege to work from your home doing a cozy job that you chose and are supposed to love. So many small artists would cry if they even got $5 from a commission. Let that sink in. And yet that's how you treat the people putting food on your table. Shameless behavior. You'd be fired if it was any other job, yet you're actually agreeing with the people who say being an artist isn't a real job by working like that. Or perhaps would you prefer they turn to AI instead because of all the bad experiences they have with artists? Just stop taking commissions if that's how you act. This is not a playground, it's your fucking job, and people spend their hard-earned money on your service." And that last part there really could not have been said any better in my opinion. I mean, how many times have you heard of employees not showing up to work or being sloppy at, their workplace, or generally being unpleasant to work with? That's the reputation they build for themselves. Eventually, as much as you may dislike it, the employer is of course going to get tired of the shenanigans, and that particular employee is going to get replaced by someone else if they don't shape up. And finally, another VTuber by the name of Blossom saying, quote, "I'll say it, some artists are just not meant to take commissions. Seriously, what can we do about this? I've commissioned well over 400 pieces, and the amount of issues I faced as someone who only asks for updates once every 2 months has been appalling," which is also something that rings true. As harsh as it may sound, any artist can potentially take on commissions, but not everyone is made for them. It takes a ton of energy and a ton of commitment. Drawing the commission is one thing, keeping up interactions and transactions between clients is another, especially if you are working on your own. You have to allocate your energy points into different tasks depending on what you need to get done on that specific day. Essentially, you are juggling. And you have to remember, money is already a sensitive enough topic as it is, and art is a luxury that some people are blessed enough to afford. People like Eve aren't asking for a miracle, they're asking for the bare minimum. These people are willingly going out of their way to seek out artists who they believe are genuinely, in their eyes, pretty damn good. Now, I personally might not take on commissions, but I think it's a bit of a no-brainer that you want to have people like VTubers keeping that same energy, making them keep wanting to seek out artists. The key takeaway is this: your reputation is going to be judged by how well you handle communication, how you treat your customers, whether or not you know your own limits, and if you can actually deliver on your service. Don't be accepting 50+ commissions thinking you'll be able to get it done within a month. It's not gonna happen. There's a lot of shit in between that can potentially hinder your progress. Now, obviously, artists have their own set of problems like burnout, lowballing, and scumbag clients who issue chargebacks and get away with a free drawing. But this isn't a matter of who's doing more damage to who, and what the appropriate retaliation is. And it shouldn't be. I don't think it justifies and excuses the behavior a select few artists seem to have when it comes to accepting commissions, taking money from people, and not drawing what they were commissioned to draw. Hold each other accountable and hold yourself accountable. That's literally it. That's what people like to see. Anyway, I'm trying to balance out this channel with more fun content. Like, sure, if a topic is interesting enough, I'll talk about it, but I feel like there's already enough art drama content out there to consume. Kinda wanna swim against that a little bit. So I combined the gaming and drawing, my two favorite hobbies, to make a fun little challenge if you guys wanna check it out. Especially if you're like me and you find yourself struggling to balance those two things, or if you just wanna see me crash out, that's fine too. Fucking playing against Monoko here. My, what lovely feet. Stop!